Judge's Corner is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the best online retailer for Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product, and GatheringMagic.com, your place to explore the game. Now it's time for Judge's Corner.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Viewers Questions episode. I thought we could take another chance to look at some questions that viewers asked that were kind of interesting and I thought were worth covering in an episode. So let's go ahead and take a look at those now. Mike asked, is it possible to sacrifice the token made by Goblin Rabblemaster to give a Butcher of the Horde haste in the same turn that both the Butcher and the token came into play? The answer is yes, and this is because the token is made in the beginning of combat step, which is an entire step before the Declare Attacker step. And during this layover step, this is where effects like the Rabblemaster's trigger take place to make the token. Either player can then respond, or use abilities, or play instants. Butcher will certainly be pleased. Adam asked, what happens when time expires in the top 8 of an FNM? Do they proceed to the whole 5 turns thing? And what happens if there's no winner after that? Typically, top 8 of events are untimed. However, sometimes this isn't practical, and you may find that TOs do enforce a time limit. And since you can't have a draw in the single elimination portion of an event, things are handled a little bit differently than they normally would be. First, when time is called in a single elimination event, there are the standard 5 additional turns, in which the active player turns 0, followed by each player taking 1 more turn, until both players have together taken 5 turns. This is where things get a little different. At the end of the 5th turn, we look to see if drawing the game would still yield a winner for the match. If not, the player with the highest life total wins the current game. In the event of a draw in life totals, play continues on with a new state-based action. If a player does not have the highest life total, he or she loses the game. Lorenz asked, if someone casts a clone or a clone-like effect, will effects like a copied Cascade card or Emrakul's extra turn actually trigger? And what if what I want to clone is flickered in response? So clones don't target, and instead you choose what you're going to clone upon the resolution of the spell. It's actually very rare that a clone or clone-like effect will use the word target, and the only one that comes to mind is Cackling Counterpart. Because of this, even though you may want to desperately choose Emrakul or Bloodbraid Elf, they still may not be around when your clone starts to resolve and take on a form. But that's okay, because if there's something else, you can always choose that instead. Things with Cascade or the Eldrazi's cast triggers won't trigger off of the clone, because it was already cast before it actually acquired those triggers, missing the trigger event. As for flickering the intended copy with a Restoration Angel, that really won't change much of the outcome, unless it's a longer lasting flicker effect, like with Flickerwisp. Ken asked, in your episode covering state-based actions, you said that multiple effects that would destroy a creature can be replaced with a single effect, like Regeneration. So, say player A has a Rakshasa Death Dealer, and player B casts Lightning Strike on it. Player A then taps his remaining black and green mana to regenerate the Death Dealer, and then player B casts another Lightning Strike on it, after the first Lightning Strike and Regeneration have resolved. Is the Death Dealer still regenerating from the first time it was activated, or would the second Lightning Strike kill it? So first of all, when I say that multiple state-based actions can replace one replacement effect, I mean if they would all affect the same thing simultaneously, they can all be replaced with a single effect. Like, for example, regenerating from both normal combat damage and Death Touch combat damage, or Lich's Mirror replacing a loss from decking out and from hitting 0 life through a Sign in Blood. So, player A used Regeneration on player B's Lightning Strike, and the state-based action that would normally kill the Death Dealer replaces it with Regeneration. Then, player B casts another Lightning Strike, and when it resolves, state-based actions will check again. And since this check is happening at a different time, the previous Regeneration cannot replace it because it was already applied to the first Lightning Strike. So, that concludes our episode. If you have any questions about this episode or other Magic-related questions in general, or maybe questions about judging or tournament policies, you can always leave us a comment below, or you can send us an email at judgescorner@gatheringmagic.com, and we'll be happy to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you like this video, we'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and liked it down in the little thumbs up icon below. And until next time, make sure to shuffle thoroughly, play at a reasonable pace, and have fun.